Hi, folks. You're with Tacitus today at your Pushback channel. Thank you for joining this live stream. In this live stream, I'd like to talk about, and I forgot what I was going to talk about. What am I going to talk about? Holy shit. That's no good, is it? Wait a minute while I beat my brains out here. Okay, got it. There, gee whiz. I should edit this out, actually. My listeners are going to think, he's lost it. So I saw an article about anti or anti-racism studies. Now, this is another degree course to be taught at a college, or maybe more than one college. I think it's starting out in one college, but I'm sure it'll spread like a BLM riot. And the idea of, the title of the course says it. It's a degree in anti-racism. I don't know it's going to be 2 or 3 years, but it's yet another degree, and there are plenty of them, to suit the low IQ masses that are being shoveled into university today. Now, this is all across the Western world. It's not just happening in the United States. It's happening particularly in the English-speaking world, but also in other countries such as Holland and Sweden and the like. They're all going for this crap as well. So the number of courses: gender studies, peace studies, African American studies, lesbian dance theory, and the list goes on. And they need these low IQ bullshit courses because of the low IQ kids are getting shoveled into college, because they want equity. So they have to have all the minorities represented. There have to be an equal number of, black people and all these different races and ethnic minorities. But there are really only two sort of racial groups that do any good in certainly the more rigorous courses in university. That's some of the Asians, Japanese, Koreans, and some Chinese particularly, but and white people, of course. So that's the extent of it. Once you get outside that group, then you're dropping down the scale pretty substantially here in terms of quality of student, even with all the wave throughs and pass throughs and the additional loadings that they get for being a minority. Some of the in Australia at university, some of the loadings, that is the benefits that they're given. So say you're a black person, you're a female and a lesbian, and you come from a difficult family background, and you had like a single mother, or you were maybe in temporary foster care or something like that, those sorts of things, then effectively you don't even need to turn up for even one lecture. As long as you sign up for the course, you'll get a degree at the end of it. So they're walking away with these degrees that are quite meaningless, but it whets their appetite. They have a high expectation. So when these IQ sort of 75 people get given these degrees, they think, well, now I've got a degree, I've got the same that Whitey's got, or so I want what Whitey's got. I want that nice house. I want that nice car. I want all the trappings that go with it because I've got the degree. I'm therefore entitled to it. So it adds and increases, adds to their bitterness and increases their appetite for the good things in life that they think they're entitled to. And by the way, as soon as black people, as much as they hate Whitey, or say they do, as soon as they get a bit of money in their pocket, where do they go? They move straight into a white neighborhood. Why do they? And I've spoken to them. Why do you move into the white neighborhood? Because it's clean, it's tidy, people are friendly, it's peaceful, there's no drama and carry on. I want my kids to grow up in a nice neighborhood like this and go to a school where there aren't police around 10 times every day arresting kids. I want them to see a different side of life. And so I come to a white neighborhood to get all those things. Oh, okay, but aren't the white people oppressing you? Oh, well, it's different now. I've got money in my pocket. Okay, all right then. So that's how it goes. And even the head of, one of the top heavies, agitators in Black Lives Matter, as soon as it took millions of dollars to stuff in her own pocket from the various donations, and the first thing she does is move into a white neighborhood. Same with activist race baiters like Don Lemon in CNN. Moves into a white neighborhood and he's got a white gay boyfriend and so on. Yeah, well, hold on a minute. If it's so oppressive, why aren't you living in the nirvana of a black neighbourhood? No, he doesn't want to live there. He wants to live in a nice, quiet, peaceful neighbourhood. To do that, you've got to go to a white neighbourhood. Seems to be how it is. So coming back to the courses, though, it wasn't that long ago, certainly in my lifetime, when only the brightest kids would go to college, and there weren't that many courses back then. Most of the university courses were around STEM, sociology, and that was making an appearance, particularly if you wanted to, say, get into psychiatry, psychology, those sorts of things. But English literature courses were starting to come in as well. So some soft courses, arts courses, as they called them, were starting to appear in university. But it was still, you still had to be a good student, an A grade student to get through. Not many kids made it to university out of senior high school, and just even the time that I was at school, they in third year of high school, when a lot of kids were starting at 14, 15, that sort of age range, they'd had a big clean out there. The teachers would come and say, look, you're a lousy student. Why don't you go and get an apprenticeship, or just go out and get a job, do something, make some money, do something with your life, because you're going to waste it here because you're not a particularly good student. A couple of students, for some students, a small minority, that was a bit of a wake-up call, and they started hitting the books and doing better. But for the majority, they thought, yeah, I don't even like school anyway. Teachers are assholes. I'm going to go out and do a trade or become a hairdresser or something like that. So off they'd go. Now, the kids who stayed then till the fourth year of high school, which was like a junior high school graduation thing, there was again another culling. If you didn't do well in the tests there, they kind of suggested you should get out. And then in the fifth year of high school, there was yet another culling. So if you look at the kids who started like first year high school to the ones that ended up doing the sixth year, you're probably looking at, say, 1 in 5, maybe 20%, 25% tops, that would actually make it through to the college university graduation exam level. And of those, maybe 10, 15%, if that, went to college. And the competition was very high. I remember this, one of the sort of kids I was at school, he's a bright kid, smart kid, and he missed out by 1 or 2 marks on like, I think it was 1%. He missed out like by 1% on making it into medicine, which was his first choice. He wanted to get into medicine and then specialise in a certain branch of medicine. But he missed out by 1, and he even decided to try it again. Go to night school to do it again so he could qualify. And there were no allowances. There was no, you only missed by 1%, so we'll give you a Guernsey. There was nothing like that. You didn't make it. That's it. Pass or fail. So the times have changed, and a lot of the kids going to university now, because of equity and equity outcomes, and minorities have to be represented, that sort of thing. There's a lot of low IQ kids in a lot of low IQ kids, and there are some that I've agreed over the years to help, look at their papers and do sort of, the red pen and add some corrections and make some notes and reviews on, say, their draft copies, that sort of stuff. And some of it's so bad that I'm gobsmacked. I think, how the fuck did you even get to university with this sort of capacity? You can't write, you can't assemble information in a useful format, your facts are all wrong, it's full of bullshit. I mean, and a lot of laziness too. They just cut and paste some crap off the internet, that type of thing. So they weren't prepared to put the hard work into it, and were stupid as well. So, I mean, when you've got both those things going on, then you're not going to be a very good student. But I've also looked at papers, and I've been asked to look at papers that people are proud of. So, look, I got a high distinction degree. And now, a high distinction degree used to mean something. If someone came along and said they got a high distinction degree I don't know, physics or chemistry or something like that. It's, wow, oh gee whiz, we're dealing with a genius here. But no, not anymore, not anymore. But people are being given these on the basis that they're just from a minority group, or they've got some disadvantage in their background, or claim they have, or they claim they're 1/16 black or something like that, and they just get waved on through and gifted these degrees. And the lunatics gifting the degrees actually think that if we give this more on a high distinction degree, that'll make them somehow that the genius lies in that bit of paper, not in the hard work you did or the brain power you have or your IQ. And that's how infantile the sort of the whole thing is. So coming back to the infantile, just looking at the infantile thing. So we've got this thing now, an anti-racism degree. And it goes along, as I mentioned earlier, with gender studies and all that sort of thing, is just another useless degree that's out there that is going to attract. You can imagine the people that'll be attracted to that bullshit degree, and I think it's a tragedy in a way, because they're being led into this thinking they're going to be at the cutting edge of social virtue and the like. But they're going to acquire quite a sizable debt, and then they've got to go out and make something with their lives, or try to. And that degree is not going to give them any job. I mean, maybe they'll get a job as an agitator in an NGO. Some of those pay quite well, by the way, but not very many of them. And then, but otherwise they're going to be a busboy at the local takeout food shop or something, or some girl waiting tables at the local cheesecake cafe or something, and they're never going to get out of their debt, or they'll be in their 40s before they've got it paid off. And what are they going to do then? Their life, a large part of it already be wasted. So another useless degree, and it's alas going to, I think, ruin many young lives, and they're going to not understand that they're being led into a situation that's going to actually bring about their own undoing. You've been with Tassos today at your Pushback channel, and thank you for listening.